Hello everyone, welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's weekend frivolity, or Broiler Chicken Show. Back. Let's just see if YouTube's working. Hello everyone. Hey, cool. So away it goes. Another weekend. Happy Father's Day, I guess. We'll be finishing this video. Hopefully it won't make it too long. And then I'm going to be heading off to Liam. I don't know whether it'd be cute if the staff worked with Liam to do something for Father's Day, but my hunch is he's probably going to be very interested in going for car rides and getting Dr. Peppers and, well, actually root beers of late. We've been having lots of root beers. And just being the wonderful boy that he is. Actually, might try and go down and throw some rocks in the water. Maybe do a little. Actually, we haven't updated one of the videos for the Facebook page. I used to put videos from the Professional Rock Throwers Tour on there. I suppose Liam's probably grown quite a bit since I last put one of those. So anyway, happy Father's Day. That's what I'll be doing after I'm done here. Finished a little bit later. Well, started up the video a little bit later here, but if anything, around this 10-11 o'clock Pacific time on the West Coast, it's not a bad time. The level 1ers just finished their level 1 class, so I encourage them to sort of hop in here and just ask any follow-up questions if there was anything that maybe either Graham or Kevin or Joshua felt like they couldn't speak to. I could always at least throw my bullshit into the ring, see if it sticks against the walls. I think the level 1 program's working pretty darn well. I sort of say that flippantly, but I discount the fact that I've been doing this so long. I take a lot of stuff kind of for granted. And if anything, I have to say what's happened here over the past probably month or two in the cryptocurrency space is a testament to why it's so important to follow so many of the tools and the concepts I try to teach people. And if anything, the level 1ers this week is a little bit longer week because we kind of smush both Fibonacci retracements and Fibonacci extensions into 1 week, which is quite a bit of learning material. And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think Grimm's even throwing a bit of chaos theory in there just to really mess with their heads. Which I don't know if that's maybe a little bit of information overload for the level 1ers, but holy kapow, Batman. And I think everybody at TRI, we just got the gift of the universe just handed us just the most incredible gift there last year. So there isn't a single person on TRI now who cannot justifiably make an excuse that when you're in a bull market, you're not going to get stinking rich. The process works. And now we throw in our crazy-ass chaos theory, and now we're like picking off levels like rock stars. We just had the FOMC meeting this past week, and I couldn't believe how both the S&P 500 and the gold market respected those chaos theory levels like a boss. I mean, it was just insane. It was almost cliche. It was almost like this can't be happening. It's so specific. Anyway, go look at my tweets. I was like running a color commentary as the levels were coming in. I couldn't believe it as it was happening. It was like, holy Jesus, look at that. Oh man, look at that. Did you see that? I couldn't believe it. But anyway, what can you do? Crazy world. think we got, we're getting closer. Figure it's almost like, okay, now we can see the damn code coming down the walls. Now, do we recognize any of the symbols? Hey, I've seen that symbol pattern before. That's doorknob, and I should turn that symbol pattern. I know I should. Oh, goodness. Anyway, lots of fun. Locked up in our crazy cages. Although I'm getting I can't understand what the hell's going on in the world. And maybe I'm not getting my head wrapped around this. If somebody wants to come on the Daily Brief tomorrow and try and help me understand what the fuck's going on, all I'm hearing about is these economies are reopening. And yet, at the exact same time, I'm hearing about variant D or something like that is just wreaking havoc. And new cases are going up. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's someplace in... Well, there was a couple places I think I read about. I can't think just off the top of my head where the cases are just going through the roof. I mean, I just don't get it. What the hell's going on? Is this more of the 1% setting us up to fail again? I don't get it. This makes no sense to me at all. Man, so sad. Can't even make head or tail out of it. It's just so screwy. It's Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto cross shit. That's the only way I can explain this stuff. When the market turned in 2000, and literally I watched people go from paying insane prices for things like Intel, Microsoft, Cisco, Pets.com, really popular stocks then Corning, because they were laying all the fiber optic cable for the interneting. And there was a bunch of funny stories, and unfortunately the funny stories, they all blew themselves up, like WorldCom and Bernie Ebbers and Enron and Tyco International with Kozlowski. He was a funny character. So that was a greed cycle apex. So as a result, very different characters. Money was just flowing everywhere. And this sort of society was as wealthy as it was. Over the past 20 years, baby boomers have left the economy. The economy has shrunk. But of course, we live in this, democratically elected governments, which constantly lie to the populace and overspend to make sure that the economy does keep growing, when in reality, it's not. All they're doing is they're just diluting the purchasing power of the currency. And that's all this kind of conversation that I go on at endlessly, ad nauseum, whatever the term you want to use, when I try and describe sort of the real world versus the Fugazi world. I guess that's this image. So there's our funny real world where the value of money is just it's just worthless, and it just keeps going and going and going. And here's the real world where, if you take in all the money printing, ironically enough, we're still nowhere near the old .com peak highs. So I don't know how you justify all this. I suppose the people going through the 1970, 1980 Fugazi, because basically this is the same part of the cycle. So that would be these guys over here. I suppose they had to deal with the same thing. Back then, there was a lot of people, and at least at this point, they weren't, Tricky Dick wasn't able to fucking just turn the printing presses on. he was able, and really, it's kind of funny, you read the story of the US dollar, but I guess you could argue it's the same sort of thing, that the people living through this generation, this is their respective quote-unquote fear cycle. And really, assets did nothing. And the weird thing I think that's going on right now is you have to understand that this is sort of where we are right now. Things are just getting going here. Hearing a lot of people sort of trapped in that, well, we're still in deflation. This economy won't grow. I hate to say it, folks. There were guys in this period, one guy in particular. In fact, you guys in the level 1 program, you're doing fibs this week. Next week, you're going to be doing candlesticks, I guess. The week following, I guess you get into indicators. So you're going to be doing things like on balance volume and learning about a guy named Joe Granville. And he famously, right in here, made a hugely bearish call on the U.S. stock market right here. And I'm worried about people who make bearish calls on the equity markets through here. I think you're actually asking for trouble. I think that's what's staring us in the face here. I listened to one gentleman in particular, and I think I've made reference to him before. I'm not sure if I think I did tweet it out. There's a gentleman on the site. I'm super proud of this because this shows me these people are fucking pros. But there was a gentleman first thing this morning on the site who posted out. You want to talk pro trader? He posted that image. I mean, that is the boss. That's the shit. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But gee whiz, that's awfully cool, eh? Where are we? This person posted this Sanjay. I was super impressed with this video. Because, if it's one thing I've learned about in this world is, there are some people who just, they know their shit, and don't fight them. Don't fucking step in front of Larry Williams and go, man, you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, this guy's got quite a bit of history in the market, and great video that you shared with us here today, Sanjay. Totally appreciate that, and that's one reason why I really love this this lounge, this site, this experience, this thing called TRI. It's 1 + 1 = 3. It's absolutely the best sort of 1 + 1 = 3 example you could possibly think of. I mean, it's beautiful how well orchestrated all this is. I swear, man, whoever put this place together, they are the man. You'd swear you'd think they were almost like guided by some divine intervention or something, eh? Everybody knows that. Brian, you crazy nut. Anyway, this was one of sort of the key themes coming out of Mr. Williams' video, which, if you fancy yourself a stock trader, I would strongly suggest you listen to this guy. In fact, we'll hit that like button, subscribe, and let's should we ring Larry's bell? Larry, you're awfully handsome. And by the way, if you didn't know, I'll just reiterate for YouTube. This Brian Beamish guy, not only is he a cool dude, he's one handsome devil too. So just keep an eye. Just remember that, okay? So, Mr. Williams, this was kind of the message a few months ago. It's kind of this end of June, beginning of July, this could look a bit tough. And you listen to my crazy daily rants. I think you can get a pretty good idea why I think this is going to play out the way that it is. So, be forewarned. This is a tough period. So, I think Mr. Williams, you want to listen to, like, quote-unquote, an expert tell you what to expect here over the short term. I'd say, listen to that guy. He's pretty damn smart. Having said that, just understand that this is kind of what you're facing in front of you. And his message a few months ago, and I like the message, is this pullback into this sort of seasonal troughing period. This should be perceived as a buying window. And we're in like a secular bull market. Try not to fight this. You could get your head handed to you in a weird sort of way. And actually, it kind of reminds me of this image. No, not that one. I thought I had it on here. Where is that? Is it over here? There. I'm wondering whether maybe hard assets relative to soft assets got a little bit ahead of themselves. This is gold and how gold acted through the last fear cycle apex. And keep in mind, actually, this is pretty cliche what happens here in the market. There are lots of, level oneers, they all know that stuff. We went through this weeks ago. So this is gold itself. It just didn't perform this time around. It got left behind. Something came along and ate its lunch. So interestingly enough, if we take this price pattern and we overlay it with gold plus Bitcoin, you get this chart pattern. Interesting. So my whole thesis was that actually the market pivoted back here. But I got to tell you, man, Jupiter-Saturn cross. I think I'm going to have to adjust my thinking going forward. And probably say something like, I think the cycle did pivot through here, but this was such a massive celestial event. It was so influential that I think, and there's like 6 different celestial events that are all happening right here, that I think this was just too overwhelming. Who knows? Point I would just say is maybe commodity hard assets are actually maybe kind of expensive relative to soft assets. Maybe we need maybe the stock market needs to like go up seriously. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. And actually listening to Mr. Williams there, oh boy, that guy is a bull. And that's kind of what this whole kind of thesis is. I mean, that's what the Dow did in the early 1980s. I mean, it was just a relentless bull. And I'm sure a lot of people at this point went, yeah, but if you divide it by the price of gold, I mean, the price isn't really moving. That's all this kind of bullshit. But at the end of the day, there's guys buying fucking hookers and blow with all the fucking money that they're making, Miami Vice and all that shit. As, the velocity of money, people are just throwing around money like, it's going out of style. And, you listen to the central bankers, that's exactly what they want. They want to inflate the shit out of this economy and just, get it to the point, fucking, you see this printing press by what's his face, Jerome Powell. I mean, hell, you could probably just sub in any Fed governor in that image, eh? So, put it all together. I don't know whether it's a good idea to fight this trend going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if kind of like you see this kind of push up here. Maybe we're like bumping up into an area where maybe we just got to like consolidate a little bit. And then when we push up, oh boy, all hell's going to break loose. I could see that. That definitely is a possibility. You can really see on like sort of the real world. I think David O would probably go, well, gee whiz, that sure looks like a head and shoulders to me. And that right shoulder, that's like the killer entry. And how ironic. That right shoulder, which is sort of like the killer entry, that was basically right in the middle of the chaos last year. All right, the time to buy was when everybody and their brother was shitting their pants, right? And man, if there ever was a lesson about market timing, I believe last year, and that's what sort of Mr. Williams actually was pointing out, was like, I hate to say it, folks, but this actually was the big reset. That was the event. That was it. It happened, whether you like it or not. And of course, in real terms, right, it looked like this. Ah! The worst part about this image now, though, is hopefully you can appreciate if anybody in the public goes, boo. Does it not make sense? The bankers can go, fine, fuck you. And pull the cord, from the market. And this thing can just, woohoo. And, even all through this, I'm still not a bear. All I'm doing is I'm just trading in a trading range. La, 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 la. You only really need to get worried when it starts, threatening to go through here. That's actually when you have to start getting worried. Scary, eh? And actually, there's a guy that I used to work with. His nickname was Nebraska. And he used to love these channel trades. I don't know whether this channel trade's for legit or not. It's pretty scary, eh? I don't see any reason why this couldn't play out. But it would go something like up, down, up, and then the trade's there. And he'd go all the way down to there. That's a killer trade, eh? That's scary. I could very easily see that scenario play out. They say that 2022 is supposed to be a pretty crazy-ass year, folks. Interesting how that cycle sort of looks like for that pivot there. And if we go, remember we were looking at that, what was that guy's name? I do this every single week. Let's see if anybody can answer my quiz question. Frederick, you knew it was coming, didn't you? you got his chart, and that's a good sign. That shows me you're a keener, man. You're gonna do well at this. Good for you. I hate to say it. I don't mean to be a dick, but honestly, the keeners in this world, they're the ones who do well in this world. The fact that you just so quickly, boom. All right, let's see what we got here. It's weird when it used to be a while ago. You type anything and you almost get like pornography. At least now it's not so bad, eh? I know I have it on my computer, but I'm just seeing if I can get it. Oh no, it's not coming in here. That must not be the way to spell his name. Anyway, I've shown you guys a few times before. Oh, Benner, yeah, slightly different. There you go. So I've shown you guys before that 2022, 2023, that's not supposed to be a good year in the stock market. And also, too, if we kind of think about what we're thinking, if we kind of think about what we're thinking about, if we kind of think about what we're expecting to happen with the corn at the end of the year, oh boy. I could very easily see there's going to be, and it's interesting, right into the end of the year, because that's exactly when we're expecting the corn to go a little bit nuts. So I could very easily see you might get there's some sort of insane event that's going to happen right through here. And then maybe this slams down and it does something like that, and it's some god-awful head and shoulders, and then we crap out. I could see that. There's something coming here at the end of the year. Mr. Wu, he's telling us to get ready, get our, sell orders on the corn ready up at like, what, $10 million a coin or something like that? Isn't that his latest call? I'm just kidding. Much respect for you, sir. My orders are working at your levels. Let's see. I also, and it's interesting, I don't hear this so much out of Chico anymore. But I did like his thinking that you should be able to, through the end of all this, buy one house with one Bitcoin. I kind of like that thinking. It resonates well with me. And Novogratz said by sort of 2025, maybe that's way over here, he said that he's looking for Bitcoin to be $500,000 a piece. So anyway, let's see how it goes. With regard to the stock market, unfortunately, I think what's happening is the politicians are going to get played here. You can kind of see that there's that funny little tail right in here, so that's probably a half-decent little support level. And I don't think they're ready to give up this megaphone top yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if we slam into there. Because we gotta, have to understand the way Washington works. If the stock market's relatively happy and all those baby boomers are feeling relatively content, they're not really going to vote for change. Passing Mr. Biden's massive stimulus and all that kind of stuff means spending more money. And keep in mind, there's a good chunk of the U.S. government that is very right-wing and right-leaning, right? They're like smaller government, not bigger government. So that's still a very powerful force in the U.S. sort of psyche. So it's one of these kind of moral suasion kind of things. So I think the people that are running the stock market, number one, they got a lot of room to play with here. I mean, they could wreak all sorts of havoc here in the stock market, and the public's going to be like, oh, this guy's falling. But, anybody who knows half decent price action understands exactly what they've done here. You can see this gap. You can see this gap. Let's get rid of all the crazy lines. So, any gnarly stock trader actually looks at this and goes, this is actually pretty stupid. Price is going to trade back here at some point. Are you really in a big hurry? I mean, maybe it goes up to here and then comes back down to here. I don't know. Maybe, maybe it just goes straight down. I don't know. Maybe it goes up here and does this and drives you crazy for the next couple of years and then comes down. But a gap is a gap is a gap. Somebody asked Sharktoshi how often gaps get filled in. And this is a 2-week price chart. That's a pretty damn big gap. So, then there's also another gap here. So I can tell you for certain the market is coming back down here. Just exactly when? Who knows? You just got to be patient and disciplined. You want kind of a funny story of capitalism. I think I've shown you guys this before, but maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Then I suppose we'll get on with what we're supposed to be talking about. The issue here is the market's not really very bullish right now, so there's no point in fucking going through a whole bunch of price charts and looking for bottoms when everything's pointing down. So I'm sort of filling the airwaves with bullshit right now. But this is kind of an interesting analogy. So remember what we said at the beginning of this broadcast, that really this was actually the buying opportunity of a lifetime. Well, maybe not a lifetime, but a very, very long time. I thought it was really interesting. This is the index of basically the Canadian stock market, the big, it'd be like kind of similar to your Americans' Dow Industrials, right? The biggest 60 stocks in Canada. And isn't it kind of a funny coincidence that where did the market stop in the middle of the absolute crisis last year? Well, turns out it stopped at almost exactly the pivot high of the end of the dot-com bull run. So, really, you could make the argument that when everybody was puking out and freaking out and dumping, actually all the market did was it just backed up into basically the old breakout level. You might even argue, this is the 2007-2008 financial crisis right here. What letter of the alphabet is this? Down, up, down, breakout. So there's your bottom. And, of course, remember what I said there earlier about price gaps. So, this is the kind of thing you might have to wait 10, 20 years for the gap to be filled in. I guess that kind of did, but this one's open. Beamish goes, price gaps need to be filled in. I don't know what's going to happen. And sure enough, all it took was some crazy-ass COVID event. And, this is where you get into... Is this all conveniently happening at exactly the time it's supposed to happen for exactly the people that are supposed to be buying and reloading? I mean, when you see that kind of image, you kind of go, wait a minute, something doesn't smell right about all this. I mean, doesn't it? Doesn't that freak you out? Okay, to me it does. I mean, that's that 2000 pivot level. These are the price gaps in the 2007-2008 financial crisis. All they did was they just backed the market up into the buy level. That's all that is. And of course, they made it damn difficult for the public to even try and get in here. That's just a mess. And gapped it higher. Look at that. So they've even said here, well, you know, at some point down the road, we will be back. Look at that. There's that gap right there. Remember I showed you those gaps on the S&P? So you can see, you know, this is probably my hunches. You can probably even predict what the highs are going to be, because this is probably going to be like 78.6, 88.6 levels. You with me? So if we take our little Fibonacci tool, well, actually this is perfect for the level 1ers. So we'll take our little Fib tool. We'll, actually it's a really big tool, but that's between me, you, and the fence post. Now I've got two tools. What do they call that? There's a name for that. Guy who has two fib tools? Isn't there a name for that? I know there's a name for that. What's it called? Yeah, I've seen them down in Tijuana before. No, all right, fine. Hey, remember that soundbite? Anybody? Let's see if anybody's even on the call that remembers. Oh God, it's so late in the party. In fact, actually, this happened at the Doge party. Yeah, there's a couple of. They brought in some strippers, and then, oh God, here comes a donkey. Oh, this is getting ridiculous. And now the guy's going on like late night American comedy shows. So actually, that works quite nicely together. Ah, you guys are a tough crowd today. Nobody's saying anything. Am I all by myself here? Oh man, I get the lines are not flying. I guess it's not polite to beat up on Alan anymore. Is he everybody falling back in love with him? Okay, where was I going with all this? So we can kind of get a inkling. If these are reload zones and those are gaps and they're probably filled in, then we probably get a pretty good idea where the hell the top's going to come in. So do our little reload zone tool. So there it is, 61.8 to 78.6. We are working our bids at the gap. Hey, there you go. Smart, smart. And, of course, we know what the low is. There's the low. So, oh, gee whiz, look at that. 78.6, 61.8 is way up there. I got a funny feeling 88.6, 78.6. These are going to have to be dragged up quite a bit, eh? So we can go, let's see, 88.6 would take us into the top of that gap. That's not a bad level, 78.6. So that gap fill, everybody gets dumped in a big panic, filled the gap, and of course, nice, juicy, sexy fill. So that's not bad. So just even something like that. So that says this thing needs to go up to about 36.5. I think we're actually through that, but let's see where we are now. Okay, so that was, where are we here? There we are. Yeah, so that wouldn't surprise me. So something, and actually, and this would freak you out. If we go boomity boom, I don't really teach this yet, because frankly speaking, I don't even know if I'm even doing it right. But we could probably start drawing some chaos theory kind of thinking. I don't see anything really lining up there. Nope. I mean, maybe we got to go there to there, and then all the way up there. That's a big one, though. That doesn't make any sense. Nah, I don't know how to interpret that. Anyway, that was kind of a fun experiment. I always like sort of talking out my ass and just seeing if something sticks. So, if they pull her back into 88.6, 78.6 into these gaps, you can actually take this sort of fib extension tool or retracement tool, get kind of an idea of where the market's kind of thinking it wants to go to the upside. Now what you can also do, which you just sort of learned this past week, and this is that AB equals CD concept, right? We can go boom, 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 and boom, 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 boom. And all right, well, we're getting a level there now. So actually, I kind of like that thinking. Remember I told you what I really want is sort of confluence. So now, if we do get that top in that area, Reload zones, do they line up with these gaps? Not bad. So the extension here that you guys just learned would be something like that, where what I would say is this is your parking garage up there. Interesting how we just banged up against 1.618 there, eh? That's interesting. Funny how this 2-day chart. Not quite sure why I'm fixated on that. But look at that, eh? That's interesting. Look at 1.618, doink. Ouch. So, I don't know whether I've done this correctly or not, but just eyeballing it. Sure is some interesting levels here. We could probably do a foggy off of this bottom down in here. Interesting that I'm using the Canadian stock market of all things. Just goes to show how universal all this stuff is. I'm sure some of you have probably never even seen the Canadian stock market before. They trade stocks in Canada? Oh, B. I thought they only had igloos there. And Eskimos. And lumberjacks. And beavers. Lots of beavers. We like beavers, don't we? Alright, so interesting AB equals CD extension 1.618. Look at that. What a great analogy of 1.618 tags. I'm sure there's probably a lot of fib guys who paid attention to that. Not quite sure why my ABCD. Usually these line up nicely, but you can see that one's actually a little bit beyond that. Sometimes, and this is the interesting thing with harmonics, and this is why I don't want the level oneers to get too wrapped up in harmonics right now, because harmonics would actually want you to draw your A, B, C, D like that and start looking. Notice how 1.272 lines up with 200%, and this actually is harmonically, like I said, I don't really want your level oneers to go down this rabbit hole yet, but these are all technically valid harmonic objectives. 100%, that's an asymmetrical ABCD. Then 1.272, that's an alt ABCD. And then, believe it or not, this thing can actually go all the way up to 1.618 as an ABCD. And we had a situation like this with Bitcoin earlier in the year, where it just kept going and going and going. So it's really important, if you're going to be using and trading harmonics, that you refer to these as what they call PRZs, or potential reversal zones. So at these levels, you want to look down at your indicators. You want to see them in divergence. And then, of course, you want to see some sort of price structure to help frame your trade. As it stands right now, I like this as sort of as a parking garage, sort of profit-taking level, thinking of it that way. And that's how I would like for you level oneers to think of this. Based on what I'm seeing here, usually in my experience, the market wants to go up to this 200%, because what we're really doing here is we've got one trading range down here. And if you think of things like head and shoulders patterns, actually this is exactly like the head and shoulders pattern stuff that I showed you in the gold market in the module this week. But like, that's one trading range. And then really all the 200% is just simply saying that the market is just going to simply go up and replicate this range up top. This must be log. No, it's regular. So in essence, one range, two range, right? Just sort of think of it as like opposite sides of a coin, even a Bitcoin, if you will. Right? And if anything, this is sort of the fulcrum. You could almost think of this like a seesaw. So this is one side of the seesaw, this is the other side of the seesaw. So anyway, There you go. We just picked apart the Canadian stock market. Like anybody gives a shit about the Canadian stock market. Be interesting to see whether we're in divergence here. Are we? Well, Willie's definitely stupid. We're not allowed to buy this thing. You level 1ers, you're going to learn this. And of course, level 2ers. This, if anything, is a perfect analogy, just like that goddamn Bitcoin there a month or so ago, right? The damn market just kept churning higher, churning higher, churning higher. People are like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if you buy overbought markets and Willie's stupid. Just go ahead and buy it. And boom! And I got a sneaky suspicion that's exactly what's happening here. This Canadian stock market's getting set up to get thumped here big time. Is the move done yet? Well, we don't have any big M's, but look at what they do with this market. Look at this. I just grind, collapse. So they never make picking tops in these damn stock indexes easy. It's always a bitch and a half. Mind you, there's some half-decent M action up here. So maybe last year was an anomaly. I don't know. I will say, though, what I did here was I actually bought some put options on this a while ago. So I still have some puts working on the books on this thing. And I also, and this actually, I really like this trade. And I think, you're probably going to hear me squawk about it. Why is the Canadian stock market going to come off here? I think it's because these Canadian banks have just gone too far. Keep in mind, it's the banks that are driving the bus here. So if the banks are driving the bus and they've got how do we say this? If they've got equity to sell and they can sell anything, they're going to sell their own stock, right? They own it. They also know, and this is what I'm really worried about. While I'm talking here, can somebody please go and find me a price chart of General Motors stock from 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It's interesting how you probably actually won't be able to get that price chart. Because there was a very interesting price pattern that developed through that event, which actually I see somewhat developing the same thing here. And it's actually the same thing that remember there was a guy in Bitcoin back last cycle, I can't remember what his name was, that was going on about the hyperwave. And I remember we had one guy on the site who absolutely loved the hyperwave thinking. Don't actually ever hear from the guy anymore. It's too bad. But I get the impression that we went through one of these sort of hyperwaves with the Canadian banks. Where, damn, the stock was $30, $40, and here we are in a year or two up at $70. I mean, maybe that's not the end of this. Maybe it can go further parabolic. But that feels awfully parabolic-y to me. Maybe we can push another leg higher here. I don't know. But I did find it interesting that the earnings news coming out of these Canadian banks was just over the top. And they're sitting on just a ton of cash per share. And it was interesting that General Motors at the last peak, its stock looked exactly like that. Taylor Jenks, thank you very much. Whoever you are, something crypto. It looked very similar to this, and then it started to fall apart. And when it fell apart, General Motors, it collapsed, right? And it went basically into insolvency. So, I'm a huge fan of a very specific chart pattern called a key reversal. And I'm so proud because there are very few sites that can actually produce this kind of trading signal. I'm very, very proud of Sjord. He's doggedly put up with my shenanigans over the past few years, and I think he's got the site to the point where it can actually just basically spoon feed you these signals as they come in. In fact, I think he and I are meeting just over the next week to formalize that we're ready to actually start letting you simply subscribing to these pre-built screeners. The dashboard that I have in place, I'd like to basically be able to just give to members. And so I think what we'll do is I'll just say you want to subscribe to Brian's dashboards. Here's like a monthly fee. Boom. And here, for example, on the signals, I mean, I got to tell you, man, this is, I mean, whether you take the trades or not, but, you know, just this key reversal signaling system, you just aren't, you're not going to find a simpler approach to the market. And, you know, if you couple the key reversal and you just line up, well, is it in a good trade location? Has it got divergence? All that. If you got all that in there, I mean, geez, this is no-brainer trading. And that's basically where that TD trade came from. So it's going to be my job basically over the next 6-8 months to both take the trades. There's the National Bank, which is a partner of TD. It'd actually be interesting to see what it's done. There's the TD Bank signal. But not only to take the trades, but also to just show you the results. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. There's the National Bank account. Let's see what it looks like. So there's the key reversal signal. So it's just slowly worked its way down. Actually, look at that. It spat out another reversal bar there, too. So, boo, 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 boo. I mean, look at these. I mean, look at this chart. This is ridiculous. The worst part about this is these banks are chartered, right? That's $38 ran up to almost $100. That's a triple since the COVID lows. Well, wait a minute. I thought the economy was in crisis. I don't see any crisis there. The only problem here is that, you know, us as contrarians, when people are feeling the most optimistic and they are feeling bullish, that's actually when we start getting bearish. And so, you know, I look at a chart like this and I'll go, well, I mean, didn't we say something about price caps just a few minutes ago? Look at these holes in the charts. I mean, you could drive a truck through this stuff. So, you know, there are just some really simple, look at, there's another gap there, but I mean, look at this. Yeah, that's 50%. So that's a lot of money. I don't know if it's going to happen this cycle or not, you know, but all I can say is I've been actually waiting for these banks to finally get their sort of comeuppance. Maybe it's about time this thing finally actually starts, you know, paying the bills here. Because they kind of take advantage of the citizens of Canada in my eyes. You know, down in the States, you know, you got to hand it to Joey. At least Joey, he's got to fight for your business. There's a number of different companies that could have their business. You know, it's state by state by state. If anything, if you're down in the States, you're encouraged to, think locally. And, you know, if you're financial services, you don't have to buy. If you're in the middle of Wyoming, right, you're probably going to buy Wyoming paper. You're going to buy, like, you know, Wyoming insurance companies, and you're going to buy Wyoming banks, whatever. Yeah, you know, you're not, you know, rammed down your throat Joey's agenda way back in Eastern USA. Well, to a certain degree. Here in Canada, doesn't quite work that way. The 1% set the system up here pretty much on the heels of them being run out of the United States of America some 200 plus years ago. And really, you might one might argue there is a contingent in there, and I wouldn't even be surprised in like secret cabals and stuff like that they like make a blood oath from generation to generation to generation that they will go back and reclaim their land and their property down in the United States or whatever state it was that they were run out of. It wouldn't surprise me one fucking bit. Anyway, Brian and his crazy tinfoil hat stuff. That's going to get me. Oh, there go the crosshairs. Crosshairs just went back on. Well, and then, you know, these are the Caucasian crosshairs. So at least we know that their scopes kind of work. I better be careful. Japanese crosshairs, they're worse. Oh, they're worse. Don't get me wrong. That isn't a racial slur. That's a Chinese CCP garbage industry. You have to throw half of the shit that you buy from them in the garbage because it's worthless slur. Brian pissing people off right, left, and center. Okay, so there you go. There's a fun rant for you today. Rant. Did anybody go and find that General Motors chart from way back when? Is it a coincidence that you cannot find that chart? You know, if I go General Motors. Okay, what happened? General Motors, isn't that G? Oh, there we go, GM. Okay, well, there we go. Hey. Okay, so General Motors, fucking A, all right, I want to invest. Is General Motors a new company? Can anybody tell me what happened to? I thought there was a company back last century. In the 1900s and stuff, they used to sell. I remember they used to sell company cars called Cadillacs. Do you think it's an accident that you're not allowed to see that chart? Something doesn't smell right about that, eh? GM stock chart that shows 2009 LOL. See above Brian for GM chart. It shows pre-2008. Where is there a link or something? I don't see a link here. Where are you posting that? Joshua likes those donkeys. Bring out the donkey. I think you're a Democrat, aren't you? What's Frederick got here? He's got something for me to look at here. Not a chart, but data. Yeah, it's fascinating how we used to joke. General Motors used to be a bank that had this funny little side industry of selling automobiles, and the automobile industry, man, it was a goddamn nuisance. So anyway, so sad. So I got a funny feeling the Canadian banks, to a certain degree, look almost exactly like General Motors. Well, we probably pre 2000 and 2005, 2006, 2007. And it's pretty darn pathetic that actually we can't even get that chart. GM stock chart 2000. Let's see what we got here. This is Kevin's DuckDuckGo. Well, there you can see what does this say? 2017. Oh, 2006. Hey, there we go. So yeah, so you can see 2006 stock was about $16-17 a share. They worked it all the way up to 41, 42. Can you see that? Does that Royal Bank chart look, or not Royal Bank, but TD Bank, does it look similar to that? I don't know whether that's a weekly or a monthly price chart. What does that say? Does anybody see where it says? General Motors. Actually, it's worth saving this. But I hate to say it, but I think that's what the Canadian banks are going to do. It's scary, really. There could be big trouble coming for these Canadian banks. So I'm going to try and hold on to these puts as long as possible. Wish me luck, everybody. They're going to try like the Dickens to get me the fuck out of this trade. But I like the idea of being short these guys and just riding this thing into the ground. Might be. I don't see links on the... but yeah, if you can find the chart from GM, actually I just showed you so everybody saw it. So, and I kind of get the feeling that we're seeing the same thing here. So, all right. Those questions. Where did I put that document? It's around here somewhere. There weren't too many questions today, so I didn't worry too much about blabbing. Boom. All right. So, from your experience with the LOL strategy and trading crypto, especially during the last bull run, does it make more sense to sell half at every double in price, or just break even with one double and then keep your position open? Well, hindsight's always going to be 2020. I mean, that's the worst part about trading. Hindsight is always 2020. So I can show you examples where both strategies worked brilliantly. So like this one here, for example. My general principle, of course, is to sell half on a double. And I mean, you saw how circle jerky everybody was there. I mean, fucking man, it was getting good there. I mean, they had some really good quality pouring on. Everybody had like everybody was passing around free Vaseline. All the guys, nobody was bald. Everybody had at least toupees, if not hair plugs. No real hairy backs or anything. I mean, it was getting really good there, eh? Anyone? And I, said, fuck it, man. Let's see where this son of a bitch is gonna go, right? This is a fucking circle jerk. And you can see, would I have been wise to just stick to my plan and just book the double and not be greedy? So it's always gonna kill you. Hindsight's always gonna kill you, I tell you. That. Are you a diamond hand? I don't know. It's up to you. That what I would simply say here is, for you to be a diamond hand, then what that actually is saying is you're, I guess, willing to endure immense amount of pressure and stress without breaking. Is that what that means? Without a shadow of a doubt that my whole mantra is to try and reverse that equation. I don't even give a shit about the profits. I don't care about the money. It's meaningless. My whole mantra is about removing the anxiety from the equation and just letting your money work. So that's a big sort of question about this. The problem here, I think, is a lot of you people call yourself little old ladies, but you're really not. I think you're probably more like Joe's six-pack kind of person. Remember, little old lady doesn't really care. They're in there because they're just having fun. And, if you've done a half-decent job at purchasing a half-decent level, well, then you just sit there 9 times out of 10. Your position's maybe up a bit, maybe down a bit, but not really doing a hell of a lot. Maybe, fell like 30, 40%. So fucking what? If down the road you can see like 10 X's, right, and 100 X's potential. So I don't know whether you really are a little old lady. I'm maybe thinking people who ask about little old lady strategy are really more like Joe Sixpack. And I think the principle there, just simply put, is if you give back more than 50% of your gains, maybe just walk away. So that might be helpful for you. I am a great little old lady because I don't really care. If anything, I get more stress from my business partners about that altcoin account than I ever give myself over it. I just don't give a fuck. It's fun. The silly account zipped up to over $500,000 there in the spring. Now it's like 200,000-300,000. It's not that big of a deal to me because my cost basis is zero. So, how stressed are you about your purchases? If you are really stressed, then you're probably not a little old lady. I'm going to say that at least now, Aisha, you're being educated on the side of the market that most of the public never sees. Where do we actually decide to take profits? Where do we square up and go back to a position of strength and sit in cash? What is your ultimate objective with your account? As I said, little old lady is, I don't really care. As soon as I get my original capital back, I don't give a fuck. I would, like I showed you there, on that stake, I would strongly suggest you just keep to sell halves on doubles, sell halves on triples, whatever, and just be religious about it. And just don't deviate from the plan, because I guarantee you that the time that you deviate is the time it's not going to work, and you're going to be all pissed off. That's just Murphy's Law. So I hope that helps. Aisha, Aisha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Are you here, and does that help at all? I wonder if that Aisha person is here. Maybe yes, maybe no. Give you 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, we'll move on. 2. Do you fill your trade journal right after your trading session or at the end of the day? The PAMP. Let's see. How would I say this? I like to use. It all depends on which plan I'm trading. I trade about 10 different plans right now. The PAMP. So, the trading journal that I'm probably most obsessed with right now is wanting to pass Kiran's Combine, which is day trading futures contracts. And so I'm actually working off of... it turns out it was this. Working off of this spreadsheet right now, and working on this plan right now. This has been my primary focus this term, and I like to, from term to term to term, I like to highlight different trading plans, different styles, different approaches, just so people on the site can see all the various different ways. And hopefully, if we can, the idea was that you'd be able to go back and search through previous daily briefs, be able to search like the bot, search, I want to be a day trader, right? And get like whole tutorial series on videos on how to do this day after day after day. I don't know whether the daily briefs are searchable like that. We have asked Sjord if we could do that. I'm not quite sure how that's going. But right now, for me personally, I'm really focused on this plan right now. And it's actually interesting. I'm not taking a hell of a lot of trades. I'm actually trading a hell of a lot less than I would normally, because I want to be a demonstrator of best practices, and I want to make damn sure I pass Kiran's Combine. So to answer you, this is actually what I'm really focused in on right now. But at the same time too, we're having our fun Crypto 100 review sessions on Wednesday. I really like the feedback. FYI, everybody. We've got a Crypto Top 100 review room on the Rocket Chat on the site. I'm not quite sure how we're going to add people, or whether I really want to add people, but actually I would like to actually give Derek, Nick, and Ben, they stepped up. They put their neck in the noose. I'd like to give them sort of the spotlight. They are fated to be in the spotlight here. So we do have that room. I'm not quite sure. I know we have one gentleman, AJ, that popped into the room and he's just blitzing us with symbols. But frankly speaking, AJ, I don't know whether I'm going to give other members priority, or whether I'm going to really leave the direction of this meeting up to the boys here. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's one of the spreadsheets. And for God's sakes, if you do pop into this spreadsheet, don't fuck around with this sheet. I'm going to be really pissed off if I hear that somebody came onto this and screwed around with the data here. So just, leave it alone if you do happen to pop in. As I said, this is what I'm really working on right now, is the ES Combine. As well, we have the Shitcoin 5000 Challenge. This is more fun. I'm just working bids. I did actually get a couple more fills here recently. So you can see the ones in bold. I've actually got positions on the one brackets. I'm still working. I did get a fill here on the PIVX. I got a fill on the MUE. Again, I'm not endorsing these things. It's called the Shitcoin 5000 challenge because they are shit. So you want to buy shit? Fine, buy some of this. I don't give a shit. Can I say that a few more times? And of course, I'm not telling you what to buy. No investment advice whatsoever. This is all just pure demonstration, edutainment, just for shits and giggles. The irony of it all is because I take that attitude and I have a very methodical approach to this, I'm probably going to make some pretty good money. But just understand, this is all edutainment. I'm not telling you what to buy or sell. You do with your own money what you do. You all know the line here. So, point here is, I'm also running that. Of course, always hunting for good old venture cap names. VCIM names have treated us very, very well. And actually, it was interesting in the most recent show that we had, well, not show, but TRI SOF group, I was chatting with somebody, and we actually noticed that you could feel that the stock market has come back to life. And these kind of markets are all sort of, they're actually starting to get participation again. It's quite remarkable. It really speaks to that Larry Williams video. Like, if you don't believe me and all my crazy cycle analysis and stuff like that, and, Brian, you're a weirdo and you're over the top and you can't control your emotions, blah, 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 whatever. You want like an old staid truth. I mean, it's the same message, and that's the one thing I really like about good traders is good traders, they know how to trade, and the message is always the same from all the good traders. So if you don't want to listen to me, for God's sakes, go and listen to Larry here. He's basically telling you there's something significant in the wind here. I showed you, the comparison to Mr. Granville, same part of the cycle. Something big is going on here. Having said that, we just so happen to be in the next month or so troughing period just because of politics more than anything else. So, hey, there's Wade Wilkins. Wade Wilkins somehow snuck into the Daily Brief recap video, and I was like scolded to go through the middle of the Daily recap video, and then someone like ZZZZ or whatever, and it was so funny. It was like, how do these guys get in here? I remember your name, Wade Wilkins. I used to go to school with a guy named Wade Mittens. Anyway, something like that. All right. Hope I answered that question. I don't know whether I did or not. So I got a number of different journals going as well. I also have a physical journal that Joe Z actually sent me, and I actually do really like writing in that. So I'm going to say a little bit of everything, especially when I'm posting my trades and stuff on the site, especially when I'm talking through the daily briefs and the daily brief recaps, and then in Brian's big bot. I mean, I do like a combination of like 20 different things. And now that actually Sjord and I are going to get working on this dashboard, it being like integrated and all of you guys using this and seeing the exact same stuff I'm seeing every day, I'm going to try and see if I can actually do more journal entries down in here for you guys if you want to follow along my journal. But I'll tell you, man, it's a lot. It's a lot of work to do all of these things. Because I do kind of personally like to work off of these kind of spreadsheets. As you can see, I built a whole bunch of different ones. But these and do a lot of my sort of journaling and stuff through this. And then, of course, also, too, we've got the day trader room. I mean, gee whiz, pop on the site Monday to Friday to check that out. That's a lot of fun. Lots and lots of information exchanged there. So, oh my God, I mean, I've got it everywhere. I'm journaling everywhere. I journal while I'm talking to you guys. So I don't know what to say. I'm going to say yes, 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 and yes. All right, Brian, you mentioned somewhere in the course that FDIC brokers insure only up to 100,000. I went into the bank. I don't know about I was surprised, and I don't know about FDIC, but CDIC in Canada is called the Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation. Your FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. I can't comment on the numbers down in the States, but I was actually quite shocked when I went into my bank the other day and I asked specifically. And I actually have here. It's called SADC in Canada. And I don't even know what the hell SA stands for. It stands for... I can't even read that. I'm such an old man. Gotta get my glasses. They make it that fine print. You can't even see it. Alright, it stands for, isn't that interesting? Oh, so I get, okay, yeah, it is, in English, it's CDIC, Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation. And I was surprised when I read this, that $100,000 in your name alone. And if you happen to have like a joint account, RRSP gets over 100,000, and then they have various different registered accounts, mortgaged properties, RIFs, TFSAs. It's all 100,000. So that means that like they've got this gentleman here, an individual, where if they have a registered account, if they have a mortgage, if Kelly and Chris both have all their assets at the bank, then all of it totaled is in the hundreds of thousands. But individually, just one person, it says here, So this example, they say Chris has 142,000 at the bank, 122,000 is covered. So not even all of that 142,000 is covered. And that's just in his deposit account. So that's scary. That's actually half of the reason why I really got to get going on this this silly Hawaiian. Well, not silly. This is super important. It's super serious. Oh God, it's so much work, and I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing here or not. But fuck, man, I really got to get that cash out of the bank and into like a hard asset, like a piece of land or something. Because I'm taking a huge risk having my money in that bank. Huge risk. It's up to 100,000. How then do you and other traders, investors, manage the risk of having bigger amounts that are in your trades, investments with brokers? It's scary, is what it really is. It's shocking how low those numbers are. They should be inflating them dramatically. Why they're not, I'm not quite sure. Something does not make sense about all of that. Because I do remember I went in years ago, and the numbers actually, I remember somebody quoted me like $1 million. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, hyperinflation world. And then I went in and saw that, and the numbers are dramatically lower. I mean, pathetically lower. You look at the fucking, stupid social media shit. I mean, it pisses you off. So if you have your money at the bank, $100,000 protection, and yet, according to, now I gotta go find it. Oh, that dickhead. Thank you. Stupid bankers are just literally stealing. It's shocking the wealth that they're just stealing right from underneath our noses. And now, of course, all these banks can go under, and so what? Your deposits are gone. See ya. Tell you, gotta get that fucking money the hell out of there. This right here! This makes no sense. $2.3 million saved. So, where the hell do you have that saved? And is that insured at all? This makes no sense at all. If the bank itself, the Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation, is only going to insure him up to, and even like pie in the sky numbers, all your different registered accounts and all this bullshit and that bullshit, comes up to like $500,000. Where the hell does he have this money put? That's how dangerous this is. And there's BT saying have multiple bank and brokerage accounts and do not exceed the limit. Oh, fuck me. What a headache this world is, eh? And do you think that's exactly what they want? All right, bye, Cheryl. Oh, Brian's blabbing away. So, yeah. I mean, I guess you got to do what BT over there on social media says, buy Bitcoin. Has there been a back testing of entering the altcoins meeting LOL criteria? Has there been a back testing of entering the altcoins meeting LOL criteria? Then hodling instead of sell half on every double. And only sell when total market cap chart does a weekly M with divergence or meets TRI's strongest sell criteria on higher time frame weekly or monthly chart. Nope, I doubt it. Makes that question nice and easy to answer. All right, next. Can you do LOL in reverse once crypto market peaks? And to answer your question here, if you would like to do a backtest study on that, we're all ears. Maybe do a backtest study on this and then come and present the material on the daily brief. And you might actually get some people on the site to change their strategies based on the data that you find. But no, I haven't done any sort of cross comparison. Remember, folks, I mean, you know, especially if you own like 200-300 coins, I mean, it's a lot of work just to try and keep on top of selling halves on doubles alone, right? And keeping spreadsheets updated and stuff like that. And remember, I don't want to work. I mean, if you want to hire somebody to do all that admin work for me, great, perfectly fine. I'll take the data. But are you trying to like make work for me to do to see if I can juice returns anymore? When I've already got more money than I know what to do with, and I don't need to make any more money. And if I do need to make money, I'll just go and run all the models I've been taught and trying to teach you guys that I know already work. And so, you know, I just do what I've been doing for the past 30 years, or I guess probably consistently now past 10, 15 years. I just want to do that. I mean, if you want to go and do all this back testing and create a supercharged Ferrari trading system, totally awesome. Go for it. You want to share it with the community and maybe even build a subscription service within the community to, I don't know, further line your pockets? Hey, build a better mousetrap. I'm game. All right. So number 5, can you do LOL in reverse once crypto market peaks? For example, can you short while risking max 1% position aside and sell 50% on every 50% drop in price? Is it a good practice to try and do that or a bad idea and strategy? Well, I mean, God, how ironic a month or two ago, if I actually mentioned that I was thinking that of shorting crypto and shorting Bitcoin, people would have burned me at the stake. So it's remarkable how quickly the sentiment changes. What I would say, though, is the problem with shorting is that there's open-ended liability. And you might be right 9 times out of 10, but that one time when the stock just runs against you, it might just put you out of business. So I'm never really a fan of openly shorting. And I've also noticed, too, that if you openly short, that means you have to have margin requirements and stuff like that. And half of the stress is not really, you know, timing the purchase. You're probably not going to time the purchase very well, but just maintaining the position. Oh, I got to feed it more margin. I got to feed it more margin. I don't mind the idea of maybe taking 1% of your portfolio and going and buying a put option if they're option eligible. Don't mind that idea at all. But I'm not really the biggest fan of openly shorting. It's unlimited liability. I never like to put myself in a position where I can't come to and play the game tomorrow. And having an open short is potentially that kind of situation. So I just don't do it. It's up to you. Remember, you know, I don't know whether you've seen how much hair I have on the top of my head. I want to try and keep as much hair as possible. I don't want to go gray. I want to try and stay as youthful and as vibrant as possible. So I avoid those kind of high stress things. I don't like that stuff. There's easier ways for me to make money. Unfortunately, what it does mean is when the market's coming back down, you have to sort of think about it like, hey, this is the only business when stuff goes on sale, nobody wants to buy. So the way I approach all of this is I have a big cash position. I sell, of course, into rallies, banging out doubles, blah, blah, blah. And then when the market's coming down here, actually, I'm buying. I've been doing a bunch of buying in crypto here over the past few days. I literally, every single day, I've been buying stuff. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So hopefully that helps. More advanced, sure. Maybe get through the level 1. If you want to head off into internet land and build a plan and experiment with that, cool. Hell, you could maybe even build the community here in TRI if you feel like there might be other people on the site that are into that, but it's not kind of my thing. Remember, I'm a lazy ass by nature. During the LO section, you mentioned you had 39% in BTC and that you needed to go do some shopping for altcoins to have a more balanced portfolio. What is the best percentage of portfolio to have in BTC and alts when focusing on only applying the LOL method? I actually like to be about 50% invested and 50% in cash. So in crypto, I would consider Bitcoin Cash. So that way, you're pretty flexible. I've got a massive stack of, a lot of people would go worthless cryptocurrencies, but I don't care. They're free, so free is free, right? So I don't really espouse to that rule based on my entire stack there, but on balance, if I was running a portfolio and just sort of, there, especially if it was like a client portfolio and with just sort of maximum efficiency, they say that if you have more than about 20 names on the books, it's almost impossible to statistically outperform an index. So, ideally, ideal scenario would be like, and this is back when $10,000 was some money. But an ideal scenario would be like a $10,000 account, long 5 different names with, maybe $500 in each name. Maybe up to a maximum of 10 names. $5,000 sitting on the sidelines in cash waiting to go. And then you just manage those 10 positions. And, if the market completely falls out of bed and you just get some fabulous opportunities to average down maybe on some existing positions, all right, well, you can bump that up, 60-70% fully invested if the market's just absolutely on its knees and totally washed out. And of course, you're buying when they're crying kind of thing. And, you get any kind of rebound, you want to quickly rebalance and get some cash back in your pocket again. So that's probably, that would be my candid sort of response in that regard. Okay. So I guess in this particular lecture, I was at about 39% in BTC. So I actually felt maybe a little BTC cash heavy because the market was so down. Could be. Maybe I don't mind, like, if I'm really thinking that the market is bottomed, maybe I'll go like, 60-70 percent invested, 75% if I'm absolutely over the top bullish. I would ideally like to be like 50% though, just FYI. But remember, I'm a chicken shit by nature, right? Number 7, Brian, can you give an idea of how the growth of your portfolio was for the LOL method in the last bull market? Did it grow uniformly every quarter since beginning, or did it really pick up in the middle or last quarter of 2017? Yeah, so, just as any kind of altcoin chart, remember, I've got so many of these assets that they're pretty much just an index on crypto. So probably the best thing to judge sort of the portfolio's performance is something like this. These total kind of thing. I don't know which one it is. Whichever one has them all in it. I think we'll use total. It's fine by me. And let's call a spade a spade. Most of this bump up here was due to crazy things like dog money, which, frankly speaking, had no business being up where it is. If you look at dog money right now, it could come down easily. It's almost embarrassing how terribly vulnerable this really is. Yeah, you can see it, right? And the worst part about this is you do good old reload zones. Where's Mr. Musk talking now? Why isn't he out there, talking to his fan base now? Very frustrating. I actually like buying at 78.6s. You guys have heard me say that. I'm an open book with you guys. So that's about 16 cents right now. Super, super dangerous. So, where are we here? 27? So what kind of percentage drop is that? That's a pretty big drop. So it's going to be stuff like that. I do think that, and I've said this before, ETH, USDT, or, it doesn't really matter what you look at here. I think this is a classic sort of, they're going to break the kids' hearts. And yet, the sad part about this is a massive Wyckoff check. And I think this is, I've said it before, I'll say it again, drive you crazy. I think this is the buying opportunity of a lifetime. Who knows what this is going to look like? It might look like this. Might look like this. Might look like that. This is going to be a mess, but this is literally, I think this is the buying window for the next generation. If you want to play this next growth cycle through crypto, which I think is perfectly fine. I think Mr. Vitalik here has built the supercomputer of the world of the future, blah, 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 blah. Isn't he wonderful? And I would absolutely say, without a shadow of a doubt, anytime you see Mr. Vitalik dancing on stage and pretending to be a rapper or a pop star, sell your fucking Ethereum. Just get the fuck out. Because I'll tell you, man, that one signal worked perfect. He started to fucking dance right here. And he started to dance right here. It's such an easy tell. You gotta love the guy dearly, right? Everybody, guy's fucking super genius. He is not a sex symbol. It's just like me. I'm not a sex symbol. I know it. So if you ever see chicks dripping off of me, then holy shit, there must be some big ass fucking shill going on here. That's like Tom Vu. If any of you know who Tom Vu is. So if you see Mr. Vitalik in the Tom Vu angle, we're toast. And the worst part about Vitalik, which kind of pissed me off, was as we were charging higher here, I distinctly remember as we were going up here, he was getting all angry because we were making his supercomputer unaffordable. And as we were going up here, right, it was getting more and more and more unaffordable. And I never heard him say, slow down. What are you doing? You're fucking my computer up. Yeah. Oh, anyway. Okay, let's keep this train moving forward. As somebody pointed out, I have to get off to Liam soon. So, Okay, so I wouldn't really go down this road. You're asking for trouble, but it might be fun. Give it a whirl, see how it goes. I wouldn't do that. It's just I'm too chicken shit. Okay, I don't mind at the very bottom of the market loading up on Bitcoin. I'd probably say like loaded up to the tits would be like 75%, 25% in Bitcoin. Then it's sort of like, oh man, I gotta cool down. Can you give an idea of the growth of your portfolio? Nope, it's up and down like a whore's drawers. No doubt about it. The equity curve goes up and down just like these charts. In fact, I thought it was really interesting that there was one that I was looking at, and it was so interesting how the growth. In fact, you might even argue, like, hopefully you can see here, like from here to here, that is what is that? Oh, come on, you. Right in there, roughly. That's a 67% drop. Did things like the little old lady altcoin portfolio, did they drop by like 50% through this period here? Yeah. And interestingly enough, actually, I think that this is exactly what we're going to go through right now. It's actually identical, right? The big face rip, big pullback, so that's 67%. And then setting the stage into the end of the year for this insanity. I think this is a, if you want to take a snapshot of our future, holy shit. I mean, there it is right there, staring you in the face. Somebody take a snapshot of this, and let's come back 6 months from now. It's fascinating how there's only 41 people. Oh, now it's 77. That number on Google jumps around a lot. Holy moly. And 453 playbacks? How the hell does that work? I could never figure out this crazy. Oh yeah, hit the like button, ring Colleen's bell, subscribe, and we'll whisper sweet nothings in your ear, please. Thank you. But the irony of it all is that Shark Toshi, do me a favor and take a screenshot of that, and let's use this as a roadmap, because I think this is basically exactly what our future is going to look like here. And if we start seeing W start coming in here through, you see, there's July, right? Here we had to go all the way to the middle of fucking July. So do we got another? Folks, just be prepared. This shit could go on for like 1, 2, 3 weeks if this actually plays out just exactly like the last cycle. Isn't that kind of cool? I think that's kind of interesting. I'm glad whoever mentioned that got me to look at that. So, where are we now? Well, holy shit. Yeah, the similarity is shocking. Notice, like if we zoom in on this, notice how this was an M top here. So, ironically enough, actually, you can do this. Go, boom, boom. Let's go, like, say to there. Boom. So there's that price action. So let's now, how am I going to do this? I'm going to have to drag this over. It's going to be a pain in the butt, sorry. This might take a while. Do 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 do. Hey, we're getting closer. My bunny lies over the ocean. My bunny lies over the sea. Hey, here we go. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is the price action from that. Remember, it was like 67% down, eh? So, let's put on like a little 67%er. Where was that? Price range. 67%. Where the hell is that? So 67. Right there. And then we will go there and we will go like so. Hey, look at that. So it almost looks like this consolidation here, I don't know whether you can see that. This consolidation here lines up with this consolidation. And then there was one more push down. And then notice the counter trend rally just came back to that consolidation level. So my hunch is, for whatever it's worth, It's not worth a hell of a lot, but nonetheless. My hunch is something like that. Right? And then, of course, 67% is there, so let's maybe up this a bit. So we'll go like that. So something along those lines. Actually, that's not bad, eh? So you can see. So be careful here, right? Now we're coming up to this trend line. Look how we're flirting with it. I could see us come along, puke out one more, and then snap back rally. And that takes us well into that July event. I kind of like that thinking too. So why don't we leave that on the screen, and let's use that as sort of a semi kind of roadmap for us, because I think that's probably not bad. Something along those lines. So I don't know. Can you even see that? You probably can't even see that on YouTube. There we go. So you can see. We kind of puked straight out this time. Last time it was kind of a slow fall. Then big counter trend rally. There's the counter trend rally peak that last time. Then meltdown. So we're melting down right now. We probably got another week or two of this sort of shenanigans. And probably there's going to be a big snapback rally too here. So, all right, cool. All right, that kind of helps. And if anything, what a great testament. Like I said, last correction, that last April from back here. 67%, good old reload zone, 61.8's Mountain Man, 78.6 line in the sand. What a surprise dip right into there. I kind of like that. It's not bad thinking. Okay, so what should we do next? We finish the questions? So up and down like a horse drawers. And just like you saw there, and that's how we sort of started off on that. Actually, I see the portfolio doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, for Bitcoin, I could see more like 2013. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. All right, number 8. Can you show how to plot death golden crosses? Yeah, I heard you asking about that in the class today. The issue there is that's a level 2 concept. I know you want to jump ahead. You've just gotten into the candy store. Really would like for you to get really, really good at identifying reload zones and parking garages and first stop targets. Keep in mind, PXHRMT. Just keep in mind, you only have so much time in the school program. And once you're gone, it's over. And then you can ask in the lounge and, through daily briefs and stuff, but you got Sharktoshi, you got Kevin, you got Graham, and you got me. Try to focus and really work as much as you possibly can on the concepts of the particular week and get good at them. And get to the point where you at least know what it is you have to practice. Can you identify institutional fingerprints? You got to be able to do that. Institutions buy down markets. Public buys up markets. Public usually loses money at this game. Institutions usually make money at this game. It's your choice. So you're concentrating on a little bit more advanced concepts using moving averages to help us understand indicator information. That's fine, but I think you're kind of wasting your time here not focusing on the material at hand. Once you're out of the class, hell, you can work on anything you want. You can ask questions about what you want, but you've got this opportunity where, we're right here. And really simply put, all a death cross, and, just to answer your question so you don't feel like I'm a total jerk, all a death cross and golden cross is it's a really, really basic moving average relationship, where it's nothing more than the relationship between the 200 period moving average, the simple 200 period moving average, and the 50 period simple moving average. In fact, look at this. So the person who wrote this script, I don't even think he's on the site anymore, but he even programmed golden crosses and stuff into this script. It's a totally awesome script. So I think it's in the library. I think you can get it. I think it's under like Glorfiend or something. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, kind of fun. Point here is that, Death Cross, Golden Cross, all you got to do is just check off, 50 SMA, 200 SMA. And it's just when one crosses the other. So, here you can see this is the relationship on Ethereum. So, oops, what do we got here? It's not very thick, eh? Must be showing something else. Oh, boom, 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 boom. So we just want to show those. All right, so why is this not showing? I don't even know how to use this. I would have thought that worked. Maybe I'm doing something wrong here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's just a script. We'll go do a brand new chart. Make it nice and simple for you. So we will go MA. Pretty straightforward. So that's going to give you a moving average. There's a whole bunch of these things. Maybe we'll go about SMA. There we go. Simple moving average. Where's the built-in ones? Built-in smooth moving average. Oh, geez. Can't even get a simple moving average. Anyway, I guess we'll go moving average. Let's see what we get there. Moving average. There we are. So we're just going to select two of them. One is going to be make this one thick. And we'll make that 50. And one is going to be 200. And we will make that teal. So there you go. So you can see there, and this is the problem with using these kind of moving average systems. You go death cross right there, boom. Oh, golden cross, boom. But what do you do here? All right. Death cross? Am I going to sell everything? Golden cross? Oh, geez. Death cross? Golden cross? Oh, my goodness. And this is the problem with moving average systems. Right? When you get into the MACD module, we'll talk to you about this. Unfortunately, moving averages, they get just torn to pieces in ranging market states. And in trending market states, they give you pretty good signals. So you got to pick your poison. Clearly we started trending here, and we have not looked back. Still looks like a trending market. So really nothing to do there. BTC, I guess I'm hearing from you guys that maybe this is rolled over. So, kind of same sort of thing. Is this a trending market? If that's the case, trending market. You can see this gave you a buy signal here. Trending market. Wow. Got me rich. Trending market. Yeah, I guess it served me well. Trending market. Okay. I guess I bought there and I sold there somewhere. Alright. It's not bad. Uh-oh. Ranging market. Sold. Bought. Oh, shitty. Sold. Oh, I sold. I had to buy here? This is like Tone Vase kind of trading. I'm buying here, and then I'm selling here. I get destroyed, and I don't know what's up from down. And then, oh fuck, now I gotta go buy it here again. Oh god, what am I gonna do? And it's this kind of shit that destroys. Remember that wasn't he going like? I seem to remember in here, he was like short, and he was saying the market had to go to $1,000. Because that Tyler Jenks guy said that following hyper waves, the Bitcoin had to come back to $1,000 or something, right? And so I'm heavily short. I'm negative a market that's already driven into the ground, and oh Jesus, it's getting chewed up. This kind of here, if you use Golden Cross, Death Cross, and you live by it, then you have to admit that, oh my God, we're just getting destroyed in here. So you'll never hear people talking about golden cross, death cross in these kind of market states. You'll always hear them talking about them in these market states. Now, you tell me, based on the fact that you see that rangers sell or buy, sell, buy. Actually, I did okay there. So actually, that wasn't bad. Sell, buy for like 4 different trades. Are you ready now? You're going to sell here. You may have to buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. You might. That's why I don't really ever like to justify taking a trade off of one reason. It's anecdotal. It's there. Do with it as you please. Is this a good trade location as far as I'm concerned? Not really. Ironically enough, what you should have been doing, and, obviously in hindsight it drives everybody crazy, but it's the truth, folks. I remember showing all of you guys when it happened. You had to have the fucking balls of steel to step in like a Kavarkanator boss that he is. And you got to buy those goddamn fucking reload zones. The worst part about it is it's just so goddamn cliche. It just makes you sick to your stomach. So, there's the level you're supposed to be buying the corn at. And I do remember, guys like Crypto Cobain dude. I remember Crypto Cobain coming in here at this level down in here going, that's it, folks. We're drawing a line in the sand. Time to load up. So you want to set your sort of social media screeners for if Crypto Cobain says we're drawing a line in the sand, that's the time to step in. Cool. That's totally fine. You see the W's. We had, it's interesting. Through this period, we had a fantastic example of a Mac, and you're going to learn this in the level 1 program, so just be patient, man. We'll teach you the fucking skills here, dude. But the MACD histogram, one of our alumni even goes, folks, it doesn't get any easier than this. Just learn this shit. And I was so proud of him. And yet, of course, nobody listened. Drives you crazy. But through here, right? Can you see and if you're level 1 right now, you can't. You'll learn this down the road. But can you see the bullish divergence in MACD here? And I remember Jonathan was like, it doesn't get much easier than this, folks. There it is. It was right here. These weekly MACD dips, man, they just don't happen every day. And this was the signal. And I remember it was pretty straightforward. In fact, Da Vinci and I, we actually even did like videos and stuff saying, I bet this shit's going to all move back up top here. Anyway, so there's the bullish MACD histogram. When you see that, you got to be like, oh my God, just put the bearishness away. And interestingly enough, I think at this point, guys like Tone and stuff started going, okay, you know what, this thing's turned. So that's good. But seriously, folks, learn that shit. If you're really here to be traders, and I want to trade, I want to make $1 million from trading, that's it right there. That's the fucking image right there. You don't even have to sit, that stupid idiot that was trolling me a week or two ago. Oh, there's no value in any of this shit. Fuck you. Just learn that. And that's free. I'll even post the damn link, boom, right in the goddamn YouTube link. There it is. There's the chart link. Just learn that. So, as I said earlier, that you want to wait for the confirmed bullish divergence, and then you're going to get in there and hunt bullish structure and things like reload zones. Well, that like I said earlier, Kavarkanator, like a goddamn boss. He came in here last year, and actually a lot of TRI are so proud of them. Came in off that 88.6 level. Look at that trade. Again, if you're here to learn how to make money from trading, I'm not fucking selling any subscriptions. I'm not selling any course material. I'm showing you, look, you want to fucking learn how to be a good trader, do this. Right there. 88.6s, original market structure, confirm weekly bullish divergence in MACD histogram, fucking indicators. There, just done. Simple as that. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. All right. Point here is that was the killer level. You got to somehow have the patience and discipline when you see this. You just go, I can't touch this. I just can't touch this. And you got to look at this and go, well, at some point down the road, we're going to do this and clean up, and away we go. So that might be happening right now. And the interesting thing, 200-week moving average, ironically enough, this is support, right? What is that? It's about 13, 14 Gs. My hunch is this old 20 Gs, that's probably a huge pivot for this market. We'll probably I think it happens next fall, though, because I think what happens is I think there's some sort of crisis that goes zing, zing, and then just like we did through this shit, it sets up one of these goddamn things where we do one of these things. And I don't know whether it goes into that or it just goes straight up, but I wouldn't be surprised if something like that's coming down the pike here. So, get your fucking buy orders working, man. And then, like I showed you on that Ethereum, man, great levels. But, on a daily basis, could that death cross spit out a signal here? I don't really like the idea of selling right here. You're kind of like the middle of the range, right? I mean, you could almost actually take your fib tool and, like, literally, you're basically making a decision right in the middle of the trading range. Okay, I mean, it's ironically enough, if you draw this study and we're up top here, you should be thinking that we actually need to come back to the 50% rule. That's WD Gann 101. That's what he did his whole life on. And ironically enough, this 50% move was we're actually ahead of schedule here, believe it or not, folks. Because we're supposed to go there to there. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. There to there. 57 bars. So according to Mr. Gann, we should do that in about 50% of the time. So what's that? 26, 27, 28 bars. So we should be at this level by October. Yeah, and that makes sense. Because actually what I like, remember I showed you earlier, what I kind of like is something like that. So I don't know whether I really like the idea of selling into here. It's not really the best place to be selling. And if anything, what I really like is I want to force myself to actually step in on the buy side if we get a move down into here. And as I said, like that Ethereum, this is just in the short term. I actually like the idea of Ethereum working its way back up through the summer. I get a feeling that, like DeFi should have a lot of fun here. And the poop coin should have a lot of fun here in the summer. Maybe poop coins not so much, but I think DeFi... Let's, well, you know what? Instead of telling the market, let's go see what the market looks like. So this is, and actually this is an interesting study. This is DeFi versus poop coins. So DeFi was sort of carrying the day there for a bit. I can't remember which way this goes. I think that's in favor of DeFi. Might be the other way around. Looks like, if anything, we're coming into some sort of pivot here. So I do believe that Is this DeFi is coming into a buying window here? I kind of like that idea because I actually did go and buy some DeFi. I bought one, I watched good old Chico Crypto, and I like the idea of actually coming back in. Like I said, I kind of fucked up the sell order here. I should have banged out 2 doubles on this, but my ego got in the way, and I guess just my outright greed. And I fucked that up, for lack of a better term. But now that we've worked our way right back down into reload zones, I actually don't mind the idea of coming back in. So I did actually come in back and buy this position back that I sold half on a double there. So I reloaded on him, and nobody's interested in this right now, which is interesting. And also, Chico is jazzed about this one. and he was like, man, this thing fell right off a cliff here. I mean, it came out at just insanely ridiculous numbers. And here we are back down here at like, 60, 70, 80 bucks. So I went and picked up a little bit of this on a reload zone as well. So, like I said, I'm actually in here buying stuff. I want to take advantage of this weakness. There's my shitcoin 5,000 challenge. Actually, they're all down on the day. So, actually, yeah. So you can see, look at DeFi is actually catching a bit of a bid here. So, ooh, interesting. No real trade to do there. Oh, this is what I want to see. What does DeFi look like here? All right, so DeFi, I thought it was interesting last summer, right? Really tried to slow people down from buying DeFi on this initial push up. Then the market worked its way right back down into reload zones, 88.6, good old Contrarian levels in there. And then, oh, here we go. So in a weird sort of way, I think the same thing's happening here. So here we are, working our way down into reload zones. Can we get one more dump into that July window? Maybe, if we're lucky. I wouldn't mind that. That's sort of what I'm thinking about. But we got this significant little trend line here that's going to be a bit of support. I guess we're probably going to see a bit of a fight here. Speaking of fights, I did take a shot on a couple bigger names, and one of the bigger names that I did take a shot on, I was just like, I don't need to be a hero here. So, this Litecoin, I came in, sort of thought about buying this W. I heard Bollinger squeaking about his bands contracting here. So, I went and bought this W here. I was a little cross at myself when I looked at this afterward because I really like the idea of buying full W's on the other sides of trend lines. And you can see this was kind of cheating. This W is not fully on the other side of this trend line. And sure enough, look what's happening. Right? It's just melting back down. And my hunch is if we lose this uptrend, kind of like that other chart I just showed you, I think we're playing it against some sort of support line down in here. And if we lose this, then we're probably going to continue walking our way down this trend line here. Don't like the look of that. So I just hopped off. I'm not feeling comfortable. And it's kind of dangerous situation here, considering we've got that July. And I don't like the stock market. Stock market looks insanely dangerous. So, like I said, I just hopped off. There is one other name that I left on the books, which is interesting because it is kind of DeFi-ish. And it's flirting with trouble. There's no doubt about it. Good old Luna. I like this name because I like the level, 78.6, 88.6. I'm not really prepared just to walk away from this trade if it dumps. And actually I was buying. Like I bought some on this dip. I bought the W here. So I'm going to work with this position. But as I said, I got chicken shit on that Litecoin. I was just like, you know what, I want to get the hell out of here. I'm only gonna have one bag hold out of this because my hunch is, I saw that Litecoin. I wouldn't be surprised. Same sort of thing into this end of July here. I just feel it in my bones. There's one more fuck you coming here where they're gonna really fuck with the crypto kids. I can just feel it coming. So just be forewarned. But on this one, I like the idea. I mean, maybe this bottom holds, and fucking A, if it does, awesome, rock and roll. If we actually can turn through here, this thing, I think, no-brainer. It's going to jump right back up here. But I do understand Luna's got some internal issues that it's dealing with right now. So it's sorting out its own demons right now. That's probably the best way to describe Luna right now. But actually, there's a bit more green on the screen here than I saw, just even of late. Good example, I think, of one that, it's non-American. So if you kind of like sort of international sort of crypto, notice Waves just put in a W within a W here. I know Kevin, he kind of likes this story. So he's got a bunch of it. I noticed that happens. So, if this is the case, we just keep seeing more W's, then we're probably closer to the end of this slide than the beginning, which is good, right? That's kind of what we want. That's what we're expecting. So, we're getting close to the end of this route, but is there still one more week or two into this end of June, beginning of July period. One more FU, I kind of think so. Okay, did I answer all the questions? Hopefully I did. It's getting kind of late. I got to get off to Liam now. Let's see. Do I do? Oh. All right, well, I gave you the good old Death Cross, Golden Cross tutorial there, although you really should wait till level 2 and try and focus on course material. Sorry for the late question, but sometimes you can see IFP levels. If you would draw a rectangle from the low or high of the previous candle and then drag it forward till today from a bearish perspective and also a bullish perspective intersect, is there some way to see if the bulls or the bears are more powerful or not, like with volume or something? Maybe a bit of a weird question, but if you don't understand what I mean, feel free to skip. All right, fuck it, I'm out of here. Yeah, what I would suggest is what we're going to do is we're going to teach you the concept of divergence. So, you thought I was gone. No, I was just playing with this guy. So, what I would suggest is just be patient. And, you know, if anything, what you're learning about with IFPs is what's called trade location. So, you're getting introduced to an incredibly powerful concept, this idea that institutions buy down markets. So we know that institutions by definition make money from trading and the public loses money from trading. So we're going to try and turn ourselves into people that buy down markets. It's just that simple. So, what we're going to do next, now that you can at least identify an institutional fingerprint, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our internal indicators for signs of divergence. Or, in essence, an indicator in divergence is telling you that the asset's price is actually stronger, bullish divergence, or weaker, bearish divergence, than what price is telling you in the marketplace at any given point in time. It's sort of our hidden weapon. And it's actually the only way that you can actually use indicators effectively. I used to trade with guys in the pit, and they used to get angry at people that used to have indicators, even a moving average, on their chart. Because by definition, an indicator, it actually can't tell you about the future. It can only tell you about the past. So anybody who actually buys an indicator out of the box and uses it like RSI or MACD or a moving average or stochastic, you don't understand that the information that it's actually telling you is historical. It's about the past. It's not about the future. No indicator will tell you about the future. But there are ways for us to use indicators to help us understand the relative context of current price action. Is price actually as weak as what it's telling us? Well, if it's a bull divergence that's confirmed, no. So that means if we're in a location that we think market should turn, and we have a confirmed divergence in our indicators, well, hell, we've got some pretty good edge here. Remember, that's what this is all about. It's just about, can we tilt the statistical odds in our favor if we're sort of making a prediction of what's going to happen in the future. That's called edge. Simple as that. So to answer your question, yeah, we're going to teach you lots of cool tools. We'll teach you price momentum indicators to identify that divergence. We'll teach you ways to interpret volume patterns. Volume impetus, as they call it. Actually, as I call it. Nobody else calls it that. maybe after 100, 200 years from now, maybe that's the big contribution that they'll call it Beamish's volume impetus, kind of like like a Wyckoff check or something along those lines. Anyway, we'll also teach you how you can study divergence in actually price volume indicators. We don't actually teach it in the level 1 program, but it definitely could be part of the program. It's just I never got around to including it, but we could include volatility measure divergences as well. Things like Bollinger Band, percentage K studies, percent R studies. As well, Keltner channels. That's a measurement of average true range as a volatility measure. We can also apply divergence to that as well. So, simple answer to your question is yes. But you're just going to have to be patient. And by the end of level 1, we'll give you at least, 1, 2, 3, 4 different ways to measure divergence. So, Arrow Ruin Flow says, thank you guys. I checked on Google and found around 90%, but wanted confirmation by the king. Oh, great. Who's the king? All hail the king, the king, the king, the king, the king, the king. Is that Sharktoshi? I'll show you the king. Mind you, I think he goes by the reference of Duke. I don't think you're allowed to use king in New Mexico. They have like statutory limitations. Let's see if I can show you a picture of the king. The Duke, beg your pardon. There he is. The Duke of Roswell, the baddest badass trader you will ever meet. So, Duke, what do you think? 90%? Does that sound good to you? Yeah, Brian. Sounds good to me. Party on, dude. All right. Well, on that note, why don't we call it a day? I'm off to Liam shortly. Wish me luck. Been a lot of fun working with all of you through this term. It's remarkable. We're about halfway through the school term. Derek, great working with you. Derek here is in the Hangout. Going fun show as always. And I guess I'll see Derek on Wednesday. He does a great job. So, Derek, if you do see people that come into that room, you're the boss, all right? So if they start barking too much, go, shut the hell up. This is my room, damn it. All right. Have yourselves a great day. Happy Father's Day, everybody, for whatever it's worth. PMA for the win. Don't take no wooden nickels. All the best. And bye.